Okay, so it was officially confirmed in this episode that characters can cancel their arranged marriages. However, there's a catch, which it's a very big catch. Even though you could choose the person you love and be with them, which sounds like a good thing. It is a relatively good thing. However, if you choose that path, it's like saying you're ready to fuck your entire life over. Let's put this in perspective. Let's say you had a drinking problem. I know it's completely different from falling in love with someone, but the laws are very similar from what we saw displayed in this episode to how real life is. Let's say you had a drinking problem. You went out, you drove while you were drinking, got a DUI, got arrested, got that put on your record. That's permanently on your record. And companies, if you try to apply for certain jobs, they're going to look at that. And they're going to be like, we don't want you. But we don't want you a part of our company because you have that, DUI on your record. And in this case, that is what this represents. What this episode is trying to let us know. You can cancel your agreement. However, there is a consequence. And the consequence is that you will have a penalty put on your record, a permanent penalty put on your record. And this penalty is not something necessarily you really want to have, which kind of reinforces the fact that many don't want to stray away from the law that's already enforced, because if you do, you're fucking your entire life over. You're fucking your life over to the point to where you're not going to be able to become what you want to become. Let's say you had your entire future set out, okay? You're going to be someone that's going to be a top-tier businessman. You're going to be a politician. You're going to be someone that's working on burial mounds like our main character wants. Or you're someone that wants to be a major artist or whatever. Do something crazy. You want to be an actor, whatever. However, these things that you want to do, if it requires a high education, it requires, certain diplomas and degrees and stuff like this, it's going to be harder to obtain that, or even impossible to obtain it, because once you get that on your record, it's like hard to remove, and it ruins your life completely destroys it. So there's just no chance for you to achieve what you want to achieve. If you want to be, like I said, an artist, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a top-tier politician, that's not going to happen because you have this penalty. You're not going to be able to get certain forms of education because of this penalty. And so your life is going to be much, much worse. Very hard, very difficult. And so it makes it to where people do not want to cancel their arranged marriage. Even though it's a thing, you can do it, it's not a good thing to do. Even if society frowns upon it, that doesn't just stop there. You ruin your life, and there's a possibility you're ruining the other person's life. The woman or guy that you were promised to marry, you're ruining their life too. Because think about it like this. The person that you have been assigned to, obviously it does work. We have clearly seen that the system does work. However, that doesn't stop love. And in this case, if he did cancel the marriage, like it was completely canceled, Ririna, she would be fucked in a way, because she wouldn't just be an outcast in the circle that's going on with the main male character and the main female character, Takasaki. The point is she will be arranged with someone new. And in this case, this person that she is now destined to marry after Neji decided to turn around and say, no, I don't want to marry you, this next person might not be as good as him. Could be someone that is not as good in terms of personality, might not have this good bond with her, and so it would be a much worse situation for her. So her life, in the end game results, would be fucked as well. I mean, she wouldn't have a penalty, but she wouldn't be as happy with the person because they wouldn't be as compatible as Neji and Ririna would be. So I like the aspect of this episode showcasing the consequence if you do break up the marriage. And it's not just the fact of going with your heart, it's also willing to sacrifice your future. And that's what this means. And this is a very crucial moment for any person in their life. For a girl or a guy, are you willing to sacrifice your future goals, your dreams, what you aspire to be for someone? Are you willing to do that? Yes, love is a powerful thing. And yes, you should do what your heart tells you a lot of times. However, a lot of cases, if you do choose your heart and you do choose the one you love, what future will you have? Will you really be happy? Because that means that your life would be a hell of a lot harder. I mean, in some ways, hardships are a good thing. You're able to bond and grow past it and better yourself as a person. Everybody must face hardships to grow. However, in this case, when you have a better option and a good future that you can definitely obtain, why would you throw that away? I mean, you know you could obtain something, but then throw it away. Was it worth it? That is the question. And so, I like that. I like the consequences of what would happen if he did go with Takasaki. So, the main male character has a big decision here. And, I mean, we know he really loves the burial mounds. He wants to explore them, you know, research them and all of that, think about them all the time. And since he has such a passion for this, you can clearly see he has a lot of passion for it. Is he willing to give that up for Takasaki? Is he willing to give all that up? Because it will be impossible to obtain that. Also, Ririna, with her finding out the truth and knowing about what would happen, is she willing to allow the main male character Neji to do that? Because if you really think about it, she obviously cares. She's a good person. She is a really good person. She does care about Neji quite a bit. Even if she may not love him, she does think of him like a close friend. And you can see she does care about him quite a bit. And because of that, finding out the truth about this, it makes you wonder how she's going to interact with Takasaki. Is she going to allow these two characters to connect more with each other romantically, or is she going to try to get in between them and try to do something? Because if he continues down this path, he will throw his life away in a way. So, I'm curious to see what she will do and how she will interact in the future, because if she does try to get in between them, then in a way, I can't necessarily blame her, because she is trying to do something for him. So, I think the best course of action, honestly, would be for her to let Neji know the truth. Let him know what would happen if he does break the arranged marriage. That is what I think what she should do. Give him the choice. Because, I mean, if he's going to throw away some of his future plans, he needs to at least know the truth. I wouldn't keep him in the dark about that. So I do hope that Rihanna does explain this to him and lets him know what would happen if he does continue down the path with Takasaki. There was some obvious things hinting in this episode that the best friend, he wants to tell the truth to Neji and say, like, yes, I'm in love with you. And as I said, this is a very different thing I didn't expect from this series. I didn't think this series would tackle that type of romance, because with the society of how it works, with how, you know, it works in terms of, oh, you're forced to marry a guy or a girl, and, you know, have, like, a straight couple, it throws, like, a thing into the mix to where, like, what necessarily happens with someone that wants to be with someone of the same sex. And this just reinforces the fact of how this society, how it's built, is so against people like that. Because, I mean, think about Neji's friend. We obviously know he likes Neji. He wants to be with him. He obviously has an interest in dudes. So even if he doesn't get with Neji, he still might end up with a dude. So in this case, society, the way it's built with this law, with how it punishes people for breaking up, this man would be completely fucked, because he would obviously get a penalty, because if he's not into women, he would get a penalty, because he wants to be with a guy that he wants to love. So that's fucked up when you really think about how this society is just completely against stuff like that. I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck? So, I'm very glad that the writer decided to include something like this, because it adds a different depth to the discussion of this series. But that's about it when it comes to this episode. It was a good episode. I love it. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please be safe. Chibi out.